welcome to the For Listeners program. Welcome aboard, everybody. Really happy to have you with us this week. On the mics, we have my man, your man, the Z-Man. What's up, Z?
Oh, my love, my darling, I want you for your touch. Are you still mine? I need your love. I need your love. Godspeed your love to me. Not even auto-tuned.
Oh my God!
Wow.
What the fuck was that?
That was pitch perfect. I know. It's hard to it's hard to fathom how good I am.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh,
Wild pitch, more like it.
holy shit! On the other mic, we have a guest host today. Please welcome to the show a good friend of ours, Q. What's up, dude?
Yo, man, what's up, man? Just chillaxing after a long day, man, and just hanging out with my bros.
Wow, really sorry we had to put you through the vocal stylings of the Z-Man there. That's
You picked a good show to start up on.
Yeah, I kind of want my 40 acres and a mule now.
Holy
That kind
shit.
of was painful.
Holy shit. Okay. I don't even know. All right. This week.
Who are you?
Oh,
you
shit,
already-
that's right. What the- Oh, greetings, everyone. I'm Spear. Welcome to the program. This week, something must be done about Valentine's Day. A week ago, we had ourselves the Hallmark holiday that is Valentine's Day, and I have a few issues with it. And I'm going to go on the record as saying this. I've been married for nearly 9 years. I love my darling wife. She is the reason I live and breathe, and she deserves all the romance that I can muster. I just don't understand why it has to be on one day of the year.
Yeah, why do you got to bottle that shit up and just blow your load in one day?
But why? Why?
Money.
And money?
Whose money?
Yeah.
Whose money? My money. I'm the one spending the money, Q.
Yeah, but that's the thing, man. Like, that's the thing. That's how to get you in.
How does who get what in? I've been in. I'm in, dude. I've been in for a long time.
Right. But then they say, hey, listen, baby, you need to tell your man and give you a little something more. So what do? They come up with cards and with flowers and with expensive restaurants and limos and etc.
No shit. And that's my problem, right? Is the expectation that a man has to go and get the flowers and the candy and the restaurant and the jewelry and the whole routine. I want to be romantic with my wife. I do. I really do, but I don't want to be forced to do it. I don't want to have to be forced to do it because someone put a date on the calendar and said, you will be romantic on this date. And it drives me insane. For me, it's a cop-out. It's a cop-out for men everywhere, and it should be a letdown for women everywhere. Because what happens on the 15th of February?
Everything's half price.
Pretty much.
Everything's half price, and men go back to normal. Right? The romance ends when the clock strikes midnight on February 14th. Right? And everything kind of goes back to normal, which is bullshit. Right? If anything, I'm out there. I'm trying to do it for all the ladies out there right now. Why do your men have to be romantic on the one day of the year? There should be romance every day of the year. And the other issue that I have with it is if we have to be romantic that day of the year, why do we have to be soaked for cash? Is it jacked up candy, jacked up flowers, jacked up restaurants, fixed price menus?
It's supply and demand, man. You got to do fixed price menu because you got to be able to cook that shit quick so we can get the next group in. You got a restaurant that can only do 2 or 3 seatings. They got to get that extra seating in so they can make it a 4th seating.
Yeah, fine, but I'm subjected to it. It's not like
Yeah.
I'm robbed of my free will. I ordered flowers for my wife.
And what did they cost you?
It wasn't how much they cost me. It was the $5 fee that I paid to have them delivered on Valentine's Day.
Really?
If I delivered them, yes. If I delivered them on the Saturday before, or the Friday before, or the Tuesday after, it would have been just a normal price for the flowers. But because I had to deliver them on Valentine's Day, I got a special extortion fee.
It's not. It's not an extortion fee. It's because it's the same thing for other businesses. It's because there's so much demand on that one day that the people who actually have to do the work have to bust their ass off to get it out there and get all these things in the right places. And they're like, it's like, how many people do you think get flowers delivered on the 13th? Zero.
Well, right. I understand the economics behind it. No, look, I understand the economics behind it, but it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Because they've created this thing, this day. Guys like me end up getting soaked for this because it's Valentine's Day, and someone deemed that February 14th was going to be the day that you must be romantic, and therefore it's going to cost you more money to be romantic, which makes it unromantic. It makes it less romantic, in my opinion.
I agree. It's just basically industry. I mean, like you go out, and you spend all this money, and all you're really doing is just kind of paying into this whole like image of what you should do. I mean, most people go out and they'll like say, "Hey, let's go out, honey." Like I talk to a lot of girls, and like they absolutely hate it. Like they just, it's the worst time in the world. Like, it should be like a random thing, but people think, oh, pack it all into Valentine's Day, so just kind of up the ante.
So the other thing about Valentine's Day that's really, I mean, I think you kind of alluded to it, Q. It's the stress on that particular day and what it means leading up to that day, and it causes people to have to make a decision whether or not you're going to continue in a relationship, or it makes you evaluate things because there's so much pressure put on that day. Valentine's Day, or the week leading up to Valentine's Day, sees the most people breaking up. It's like ground zero for relationships.
They did that on TED. They did a TED conference, TED Talk, one of them. Did you see that one? British journalist David McCandless was showing us this chart, and he's basically saying, here is a chart. It's got two peaks, and he didn't tell you what it was. It wasn't labeled, and the peaks were February 12th and like December. No, it was like the beginning of December or something like that, and that's exactly what it was. It's the spring cleanup, right on Valentine's Day, and then there's 2 weeks before the holidays are the two most largest peaks of people breaking up on Facebook.
Right. So just before Christmas and just before Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I'll put the link up on the website.
Right.
Perfect timing.
So this year, I actually had that happen to me. Been dating this girl since March of last year, and about 2 weeks ago, about a week before Valentine's Day, I get a call saying, "I don't think we're going. I don't think we're in the same place. I don't think, we want the same things in life, and I think we should stop seeing each other." And I'm like, okay. And it's not that I didn't see it coming, but because I think what happened there, she got kind of freaked out. Valentine's Day's coming up, trying to figure out what we're going to do that weekend. And I think the added pressure of trying to figure out what you want to do with your relationship, it's kind of like it's that point in the year where you kind of say, okay, now I got to actually think about where I am with this relationship. Do I want to continue this or don't I want to continue this?
Yeah, right. It's it's not even that. It's do I really want to spring for the Valentine's Day gift? That's what it boils down to.
Valentine's Day gifts are not expensive. Valentine's Day is go take her out to dinner and whatever.
Yeah, but by the time you add it all up, it could be a costly proposition. I guess it depends on where you take them out, right?
$50 to $100.
But not for her, though.
Not for her.
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't spend anything on Valentine's Day. It's all about the chicks.
Yeah, the chick gets you a card.
Pretty much. Or like, a 6-pack of something that you like.
Bakes you some cookies.
6-pack and cookies.
Yeah, so you get her jewelry, right? She gets the gift that lasts a lifetime. You get some beer. you get the gift that lasts the length of your urinary tract.
Pretty much.
So here's what can be done, and definitely you guys can all take advantage of this. In a past relationship, we said screw Valentine's Day, we're going to celebrate Chuck Woolery Day.
Chuck Woolery Day.
Newlywed Game. Chuck Woolery.
Chuck Woolery Day. You know, from such fame as the Newlywed Game and Scrabble.
And the Love Connection.
Oh, Love Connection, not the Newlywed
That's
Game.
true.
Or was he Newlywed and Love Connection?
I think it was both.
I can't remember.
Either way.
Anyway, we went away one week, and we're sitting around, just me and my brother and a bunch of his friends. We're at some, like, I don't know, like some mountain house of one of theirs or something, sitting on the couch watching Scrabble. And we're just drinking and drinking. We're trying to think of something to toast to, and I toasted Chuck Woolery. I'm like, it's Chuck Woolery. Fucking Canadian. He's Canadian, right?
Probably. Most hosts are.
Yeah, he's fucking Canadian.
we'll just paint all game show hosts with the same brush. They're all Canadian.
You got Alex Trebek. You got the Woolery. So we're like, oh, let's just toast to Chuck Woolery. So from then on, anytime I'm looking for someone to toast to, it's always Chuck Woolery. And so getting back to the Valentine's Day thing, you know, one of his day we were trying to figure out. I was like, you know, let's do it on a different day. I was like, let's do it on Chuck Woolery Day. And Chuck Woolery Day is going to be February 22nd because he's always saying back. He's like, when he goes to commercial break, he's like, I'll be back in 2 and 2. And so we figured February 2/2.
There you go.
And so on February 22nd, we do all the things that most people do on Valentine's Day. There's no lines at the restaurants. There's no waiting to get reservations. I bought all my candy half price. I bought all my Valentine's Day supplies half price. You got your sexy boxers or they have all the big lingerie sales and shit like that if you want to get some fun stuff. And we go out, and that's our way to celebrate. So we don't have to pay Hallmark just so we can show our love.
That is genius.
Brilliant.
It is. And it's the perfect solution to the problem, right? That if you wait a week, you can still be romantic. In fact, I would argue that Chuck Woolery Day can be any day of the year.
February 22nd is pretty cool, though.
Well, right.
Triple twos,
right? But I would argue that Chuck Woolery Day can be any day of the year because every day of the year should be a good day for romance.
Where's the love?
I wonder, Q. I mean, you're into this romantic crap, right?
For the most part, I write about it a lot.
Get some feelings.
Yeah. So for those of you listening, our good friend Q is a poet, and has recently published a book about. Well, why don't you go ahead, Q?
Oh, well, it's just called Rhythm and Blues of Love, and it's basically about the story of this guy who's a little down in the dumps and just trying to find love. He finds it. It's working out great. Goes to crap. He goes downhill, and in the end, you don't get like a Disney ending, but he kind of figures out, what love really is. And I just do it all in poetry form. And at the end, I kind of do like a little short story to wrap it up.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll put a link to in this show on the Facebook there with a link to your site.
Oh, cool! Thanks, guys.
Right on. Yeah, definitely.
So
get some pearls of wisdom from Mr. Q.
So what advice, Q, would you give to the guys who maybe need a little kick in the ass there?
I mean, it's real simple, man. Like, you just have to listen. I mean, that's the one thing. Like, I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but I hang around a lot of girls, and what I do is I just listen. Listen for the small things because they'll appreciate you doing something really small over going like overboard and going something big. Like, you remember, oh, this is like their little, their favorite like meal is like, macaroni and cheese, and all of a sudden they come home and there it is, macaroni and cheese. Or, oh, I liked this thing when I was a kid, and I wish I had something, like it, like a bear or something, and oh, wow, there's the bear that I was looking for all this time. Like, the small stuff is what really matters to them. When you do the small stuff, it's like, wow, he's actually paying attention. He really isn't a moron or just trying to get into my pants.
So
Even
isn't that...
if you are, but there you go.
But isn't that sentiment, and I completely agree with you, by the way, but that sentiment seems to be counter to the whole Valentine's Day thing. Because most people... Like we were saying, the expectation for Valentine's Day is to go all out, right?
Right.
It's not. There's nothing little about it, or for a lot of people, there's nothing little about it.
And there's nothing very personalized about the whole experience. It's buy a card you found at Hallmark. that says something that's not too cheesy to get by,
or
and
as cheesy as you can possibly go,
or go as cheesy as you can, and just kind of go with it. And then it's go out, get the chocolates, get the wine, get her drunk, go to dinner, and go fuck all night. I mean, there's no personalization in that, and I think that's the key. Is you got to do something slightly different than the norm. Take Q's advice, listen for some clue of something that she'll really appreciate, and go do it up.
Right.
All right, what can we do for fun on Valentine's Day? What are some fun things we can do?
Fun things that aren't restaurants, right? Fun things that are out of the norm.
Dude, just do like a tasting or something like that. Like get a couple of wines or whiskeys or whatever she's into, beers, and just educate yourself on it and do a tasting for her.
Nice. Get some cheese.
Yeah, exactly. Do it up.
All right, here's one. I just thought of this one. This would be a good one too. Does Spencer still exist, or to go out of business?
Sure,
Spencer Gifts.
Yeah, Spencer Gifts.
The day before Valentine's Day or that night, go in Spencer's and fucking just go on a shopping spree with your girl. They got all kinds of crazy fun shit that you always go looking at. When you go to the mall, you look around and you're like, oh, who would ever buy that? Who would ever buy that? Go in with your girl. Go pick out a few things to try. It's a lot of fun. Get some paint, some those stupid dice that tell you to do stupid things.
Right.
Some Kama Sutra book, or something crazy. It could be like, hey, let's get some trashy ass lingerie and some edible undies, and let's go to town.
Well, how about going off the beaten trail for a Valentine's Day activity? How about like going to a museum or something?
Man.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
Going to a museum where you're checking out some art. And I guess you'd have to find the right wing of the museum to go to. You probably don't want to go to the museum and go to the where they have the armory, right? That's probably not hot.
Unless she likes guns, in which case, awesome.
I would avoid at all costs, with my wife at least, the Mutter Museum here in Philadelphia.
Oh, that place is awesome.
Oh,
there's a dude in there with this 15-pound colon because he couldn't shit.
Oh.
Yeah, the 15-pound colon doesn't scream romance, dude.
But it's awesome.
Let's go out to dinner after that.
Yeah, maybe you go on a different day, right? Yes, Mutter Museum, awesome. Not for Valentine's Day, bro, is all I'm saying.
Unless you drink it away, in which case, then fine. You'll forget it after a couple of drinks.
All right, so drinking's another example, right? I mean, take your wife out or take your girlfriend out to a bar, where you can just kind of have a couple of drinks and talk.
Right, go someplace with some fun cocktails, something funky, not your normal, just like getting some buds.
Yeah, I think I liked what Q was saying earlier about maybe a tasting. Maybe you go to a wine bar where you get a flight of wine, and get the cheeses and whatever else, and kind of do it up. Better than that, maybe go to maybe register for a wine tasting class.
Ooh, that's nice.
Well, speaking of classes, like a cooking class together would be interesting. Like exploring different foods from exotic places.
Yeah, but that kind of thing, those things, they usually don't schedule them on Valentine's Day, do they?
Here's what you do. You set up for a cooking class 2 weeks before Valentine's Day. And then on Valentine's Day, the two of you cook a meal together.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
That's a good call.
So if you have other suggestions for what someone can do on Valentine's Day, that's not of the norm, right? Not the same old tired flowers, candy, restaurant, wash, rinse, repeat. Go ahead and post it to the Facebook page, facebook.com/4listeners or 4listeners.com. Check us out on the iTunes. Just search for 4Listeners and we'll pop up. So thanks, Q, for being a part of the show.
Thanks for having me, man. I had a great time.
And where can our listeners check out your book?
You can just go on Amazon.com, type in Blake Q. Hatfield, and my book, The Rhythm and Blues of Love, will pop up. It's a nice picture, beautiful girl in the front, panda bear on the back.
There you go, and we'll make sure we post that link out there on the Facebook page, so be sure to check that out, everybody. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll hope that you download us and catch us again next week. Thanks much, everybody.